In 1968, there were roughly 303 million high school-aged kids in the world, based on UN statistical data. 18 million of them lived in the US, 270,000 of them lived in Washington, over 100,000 of them lived in Seattle area. Among them, only 300 of these kids attended a school that holds the only computer that existed to the public at that time. At a ratio beginning from 303 million down to 300 kids, we have 1 in a million. One of those 300 kids that went to that school is Bill Gates. In this video, I'm going to share with you some learnings on some of the reasons why we lose or fail in investing. Keep watching. Linguistically, the opposite of luck is perhaps misfortune, but not in the world of finance. In the financial world, the opposite of luck is perhaps risk. For every Bill, there is a Kent. Now, who is Kent? Kent Evans was Bill's best friend and classmate, a like-minded and a business-savvy friend. They'd imagined starting up a company together while reading Fortune magazines in their teen years. From the onset, they were going to be the inevitable business partners of Microsoft and take over the world. However, as fate decided, Kent got into a ski accident, which took his life even before he could graduate. We attribute so much success to ourselves when things go well, that we are in full control of everything, but only when things go wrong we realize that luck actually plays an important role in our success, whether you want to admit it or not. The same goes for risk. Although I personally think that was perhaps an extreme example between Bill and Kent, we must admit risk plays an important role in our journey to success. Some things are out of our control, but with this realization is how we build humility in determining our actions to keep moving forward, which brings us to the next factor on why we lose. You might know that Walt Disney failed a few times. But more than that, his first studio actually went bankrupt, and at the time it started, the films Walt Disney made, they were overly expensive to produce and finance. By the 1930s, Disney produced more than 400 cartoons, and most of them lost a fortune despite being loved by so many. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, however, earned Disney $8 million, which changed the trajectory of the company to be what it is today. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was the outlier. It is what we call the tail event. Flip a coin and chances of you getting tail is 1 out of 2. But that is not how life works most of the time, because that implies that life is a binary condition always. If you look at a bell curve, or what mathematicians call the normal distribution, in the middle of this distribution is where most outcomes are. The tails, the other two ends, however, is where the special things lie. Anything in life that is considered fortunate, profitable, or impactful is a result of tail event in this curve. To get there, you simply have to go through the inliers until you reach the outlier. You won't know what is the outlier until you see it in the form of your success. Investing is the same. No one makes the right decisions all the time, and most successful people are usually filled with rather terrible ideas that are often acted upon. The financial market has something that caters for this problem of sifting through inliers to get to the outliers, and that is what index funds are for. The index S&P 500, for example, consists of the top performing 500 US publicly listed companies, and you'll know that within the index there are a few outliers that will perform and succeed over a time frame, and it will show over decades to come. You won't know which companies are the best performing ones, but that's the whole point of investing in index fund. Sure, you can win in picking the right stocks, but not all of us are Warren Buffett. I know I'm not. I've played that game my whole life, and I wish I knew early on about what I just told you. And that was our reason number 2 for why we fail at investing. In every investment manager's prospectus, you'll always see strikingly similar statements that goes, historical performance is not indicative of future performance. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean if I trust you with my money in the event that you do not perform well, you can use this disclaimer that even though you convinced me you've performed well before, that you can't guarantee you can do it again? Yes, that is exactly right. No matter how much we know about the past, we don't seem to quite learn from it. And the underlying reason to why we don't learn can be found in a great physicist quote, Richard Feynman, when he said, "Imagine how much harder physics will be if electrons have feelings." We don't learn from history well because we humans, and as investors, have feelings. That makes making decisions more subjective. The truth is, experience and reliance on the past may lead to overconfidence and further result in you missing outlier events. Therefore, this is important to remember that what has never happened before will actually happen. Let's take the coronavirus pandemic of 2020 for example. I remember when I saw it on the newspaper at the mid of 2019, it was just a tiny side column. There was a virus in Wuhan, China. I thought to myself, it wouldn't probably reach us or reach the rest of the world. A year later, it just blew up, and we were all in lockdown for almost 2 years. What we thought could only happen in the movies actually happened. Boy, that was a good lesson for myself in this very topic. Pre-pandemic, markets were booming. As soon as the pandemic was made official, S&P 500 dropped by 12% in that fateful day. I was a derivatives financial analyst at that time. On that day, I remember seeing red everywhere, and margin calls non-stop, and the head of investment operations were always checking in on us to see how we're managing the calls. The lesson from this is, never underestimate the power of a big ugly event from happening. This is not saying that you should not do anything to prepare for it. In fact, quite the opposite. You proceed with caution, never with the thinking that things will go exactly according to plan, and always make enough margin for error. So there you have it, a few lessons on why we fail or lose from the investment perspective. To summarize, understand what risk means to you, appreciate that luck plays a role in your quest for success, and sometimes you'll have to get through the inliers to get to the outliers. What has never happened before can and will happen, including your own success. We've come to the end of the video. If you've watched this far, thank you for watching. And if you've enjoyed and benefit from this short video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Tell me what else you think should be on the list of fail factors in investing in the comments section down below. See you in the next video. IJ signing off.